Whoa, what a Monday night football game to cap off week 13. This is a game in which the Broncos won 41-32. I was fully anticipating a 24-16, 17-13, some low scoring affair on Monday Night Football, but instead the Cleveland Browns and Denver Broncos gave us fireworks. The Broncos moved to 8-5 and even more so now than ever secure their position in the AFC playoffs. We still have a month left to go of the NFL season, and the AFC playoff picture looks pretty clear at this point in time. It would take a catastrophic collapse from a team, but Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Houston, those are your likely division winners, with the Chargers, the Ravens, and this Broncos squad headed into the playoffs as wild card teams. There's conversation in the NFC. Who's going to win the South? Who's going to win the West? Where do the Packers, Vikings, and Lions all shake out? In the AFC, it's kind of like, does Baltimore have a shot to come back in the AFC North? And how do the wild card seedings shake out? But Denver, this is a team that nobody wants to face. And the one seed in the AFC becomes ever so important, as right now, the way that things are shaking out, it looks like Denver's going to be the 7 seed in the AFC playoffs. But I'll tell you what, if you're Kansas City or Buffalo or Pittsburgh who moves up, this is not a team you want to draw in round one. Their defense is so fucking good, man. And I get it. Jameis Winston threw for 497 yards and, had the day that he had with Jerry Jeudy. But, the defense won the Broncos a game in which they let up 32 points and all those yards, which sounds so odd, but 2 pick sixes very easily could have been 3. Benito all over the field getting sacks. Like, this wasn't Bo Nix's crowning achievement of a football game. 18 of 35, 294 yards, a touchdown, a pick, a 65.7 passer rating. Jaleel McLaughlin. Oh, this guy looks like the guy in the Denver backfield. 6 yards a carry, 84 yards on the ground. I talked about this with the Chargers in the Sunday recap video, but the same for the Broncos. You imagine them getting somebody really dependable alongside Courtland Sutton, and all of a sudden, another year of Bo Nix and progression. This defense that does have some no-fly zone aspects to it. Pat Surtain is the best corner in football. You have a ton of guys who are willing to go out there and make plays. Jaquan McMillan tonight with the pick 6. Zach Allen was all over the field. Nick Benito, he had the pick 6 from the defensive end position. One of the better edge rushers on this team comes away with the pick 6. Marvin Mims had the 93-yard touchdown. The Broncos are explosive enough to put up 41 points in a game, obviously. Have a good enough they're very Pittsburgh Steeler-esque, and I don't think that they're quite at the talent level of Pittsburgh, but a lot of the things that I say with the Steelers can be said for the Broncos, and are why on any given Sunday it's just so scary to play this team, because more often than not they have a better defense than their opponents, especially when you consider that no-fly zone, and they do have an ability to generate a pass rush. And while they don't have the greatest weapons in the world, they have a quarterback who can very well execute the offensive mind's game plan, and they can hit the big play. We saw it tonight. Marvin Mims, a 93-yard touchdown. Courtland Sutton had a 32-yard catch and had countless other 20-plus yard plays. They have an ability to hit you for an explosive play. And it's not consistent. It's not every drive. There's some drive stall outs. And the talent isn't fully across the board for Denver. But they have that ability on any given Sunday to walk into anybody's place and beat them. We just saw a couple weeks ago, shoulda, woulda, coulda, I understand. But they were right there with Kansas City. Right there with the 11-1 back-to-back defending Super Bowl champs. With a rookie quarterback, a below average running back and wide receiver room, that many would say, an almost non-existent tight end room, in the middle of the pack offensive line. They went in to Arrowhead, to Kansas City, and competed with the Chiefs. The Broncos, one, have a bright future, which I love for their fan base because Broncos fans are some of the best fans in the sport, and I'll stand on that. But two, have a team right now that's capable of winning against anybody. And I don't know, I don't believe in them fully to go on a 4-game run in the playoffs. But if you told me they ended up in the AFC Championship, I'd say I could see it. And if you told me that I'd be saying that about the Broncos 13 weeks ago, I would have laughed you out the building. So this is a real just, shout out to the Denver Broncos and what they're doing. They have an ability to win defensive games, shootout games. Again, the way that I feel about them is almost as good as I feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's right there. They're just a little further behind in talent on both sides of the ball. The Cleveland Browns. Here's what I'll say. Jameis sets the Browns record for passing yards in a game. Jameis sets a career high, 497. That actually kind of surprised me. I thought Jameis would have been a 500-yard guy, just with the way he slings it. You know what I mean? 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, 2 of them for pick sixes. Like, you got the full Jameis Winston experience. Jerry Jeudy goes for 9 for 235 and a touchdown against his former team. You love that for him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't really think he was slighted by the Broncos. They had to pick one of the receivers, and they picked the one that's performed. I saw a tweet that said Jerry Jeudy tonight had about 8% of his production for his entire 4-year career with the Broncos in this game tonight for the Browns. An absolute insane stat. And basically the story that I have for the Browns is the same one each and every week. The talent that they have on the defensive end with Garrett, Denzel Ward, players like that. Clearly, Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Njoku, Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford. There's weapons on the offense. It's a fine offensive line. And Jameis has played better than Deshaun Watson, and the team has clearly believed in Jameis more than Deshaun Watson. And it's not to say that Jameis is an NFL starter. He's a good backup. But there's just no way this team could ever, and I mean ever, turn back to Deshaun Watson at this point. They might, but there's no reason that they could look their fan base in the eyes and truthfully say, we're doing this because we believe it gives us the best chance to win again. If they do it, they're doing it because they're not willing to eat the money. And by the way, the team that they played tonight is proving that eating that money and moving off of a quarterback that isn't working out for your team is 1000% the right decision. Because the Denver Broncos drafted right around where the Cleveland Browns will be drafting. Granted, it was a deeper quarterback class, but, there's a world where Cleveland could walk out of this draft with Jalen Milroe and hit the reset. And that's what they should do. If given that opportunity, that's what they should do. Will they? I have my reservations. But for Cleveland, the lesson is, yet again, Jameis Winston greater than signed Deshaun Watson. How can the Browns ever bring him back? And for the Broncos, they're a fucking scary team, man. They are a scary playoff team. And if I was a top 2 seed in the AFC, I would be praying to get that 1 seed. Because every game in the AFC playoffs, including the 2 versus 7 matchup, no matter what it is, and if it's Denver, especially, it's going to be a gauntlet. Because there's some really fucking good football teams in the AFC, and the Broncos are one of them. But as always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What did you think of this Monday Night Football game? If you're new to the channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, hit that button, especially if you love the NFL. Hit the like button. Comments are also good for the algorithm. I appreciate your support as we grow this channel. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.